Hi everyone, this is Perfume Coast, so welcome to my channel. Today's podcast will be dedicated to the new 2025 release by Versace, which is called Crystal Emerald. So without further ado, let's jump into the ocean of perfumes. So this release appears to be the flanker of the one called Bright Crystal, in this crystal-like pink bottle. But first thing first, let's have a look at which notes Fragrantica is listing for us. So on the top we've got bergamot, peach and pink pepper. In the middle there's sorbet, rosebud, raspberry and jasmine. And finally in the base is white musk, tonka bean and incense. So this perfume in the opening is citrusy, sparkly and clean. A very pleasant opening in fact. This opening really gives off this translucent crystal-like effect. There's also a bit of creamy undertone which is far on the background though. While the fragrance is not sweet itself, it does contain a bit of sweetness which is beautifully balanced with tartness that this fragrance also has. As the scent develops, I can also detect a bit of green undertone, but that undertone is not vegetal at all, but what it really is probably the likes of pine or conifer effect. In this respect, it reminds me of a fragrance by Moschino called Toy 2 Pearl. By the way, this toy line is very appealing to me as I have 3 of them in my collection. A bubblegum in the pink bottle, pearl one obviously, and Toy 2 of yellow color, which is this brilliant apple laundry detergent scent. So this one again reminds me of a Toy 2 Pearl release, which also has the note of sorbet. In that one, I also detect this pine-like effect amped up by the note of oregano. So in Crystal Emerald, I also smell this pine wood fur-like undertone, which makes this release a lot more interesting and, by the way, unisex. Also, what's interesting is that in both fragrances, I do not really detect anything related to sorbet other than perhaps cold effect and citrusness. That is, if that sorbet is a lemon one, of course. So in the deep dry down, this green, slightly spicy herbal pine-like undertone in combination with citrusy effect gives off strong impression of lily of the valley to me, which is of course a very unique smelling flower. I can also smell something aquatic and clean, just like with the Toy 2 Pearl release. So let me summarize a bit. So the opening is bright and citrusy, then herbal pine-like impression joins in. All this is happening on an aquatic background, and in the deep dry down we've left with the imagery of dewy and delicate lily of the valley, which also preserves its green herbal DNA, which in its turn of course only amplifies this lily of the valley effect. And there we have it, our clean, slightly aquatic and citrusy flower that's fresh and sparkly. At one point this fragrance reminds me of a comforting, clean shampoo or luxurious shower gel. I'm also in fact a bit surprised that this release comes out in late autumn when everyone is pretty much leaning towards more substantial, spicy, smoky or gourmand profiles. However, as I mentioned earlier, there's this comforting effect of creamy, clean shower product that's very pleasant and very good for creating this spa-like effect, if you will, which in its turn may be very much on demand during colder season as well. So overall, a very pleasant release, retaining DNA of OG with some special twist to it in the form of herbal aquatic features that I think we'll certainly revisit in summer/spring. My guess is that it will be a lot more appealing then than now. But again, it's in any case both pick-me-up scent, especially in the opening, and at the same time it's sort of spa-like comforting release. And so this juxtaposition is yet another interesting feature that certainly makes this fragrance worthwhile testing out at the very least. But that's it guys, this wraps up this short podcast. If you liked this, please give it a like, please consider subscribing and sharing your comments. Thank you very much for watching and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.